So hello and welcome everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Sapir and I'm a dropshipper and I run eBay stores for SaleFreaks. And each week I do a webinar for you guys to help you share my knowledge with you and you know help you apply it to your business and grow and be more successful and more profitable. So today I was asked to talk about how to minimize work and maximize profits, which is always a great subject to talk about because it is actually essentially the how effective we are in our business. And truth is, if we're not effective, then we will get worn out by the work. So it is essential to know how to minimize the work, just not to get so worn out. Okay, guys. So before we get started, just let me say that if you have any question, please go ahead and leave it in the comment section, and we'll go over it together at the end of the webinar. Okay. So let's cover our topics for today. So we're gonna talk about four main things I do in my business that helps me to get through the day and takes some of the load off. So uh, I'm starting with delegating tasks to VA, then moving to working with wholesale suppliers, copying, selling items across all of my stores, and we'll finish with talking a little bit about Q4, okay, which is super relevant now. So yeah, that could also uh, will help you increase your profit for sure. So the first thing I want to talk about is delegating tasks to VA. However obvious it is, it's worth mentioning because when you talk about minimizing work, right? This is the topic of today's webinar, minimizing work and maximizing profit. Well, if you want to minimize work, then you have to take some of the work off of yourself. Okay? So you want to make your dropshipping business as automatic as possible. Okay? And then your focus should be on delegating tasks. When you're delegating tasks, you're minimizing the like the let's call it the physical work, right? But the time that you spare, that you make for yourself, can be used towards thinking of new strategies or exploring new suppliers or that kind of stuff, things that will help you maximize your profit. So yeah, any tasks that your VA doesn't do equals you have to do it yourself, equals you do more work. Okay, so you have to think automation and outsourcing. Now, I want to share with you my story. I'm a big sinner of that. I'm having a hard time delegating tasks, and this is because I don't want to say I don't trust my VAs because I do. I mean, if I didn't, I wouldn't hire them. I'm having a hard time trusting other people doing things for me in general in life. I mean, that's just me. So obviously, when it comes to my business, I'm having a hard time letting go of things. And so I do a lot of the work myself. But then I thought to myself, well, it's a waste of time because it's nothing that no that someone else can do. I mean, of course they can. I just have to let it go. It's a conceptual thing, it's a state of mind. So once I figured it out and I told myself, well, yeah, nobody will ever be as good as me in my business, right? But even if, even if the VA gets to about 85% of what I'm doing, that's enough to take off my chest, the burden. You know what I mean? So I started doing videos. I started recording my screen. Nothing fancy, just recording my screen, doing very simple things, talking to the camera, explaining what I'm doing. And then I started uploading all of these videos to my Google Drive, and then I give a link to my VAs, and this is how I train them. So today, I'm still having a hard time letting go. For example, when I'm starting something new, a new project, a new supplier, a new method of item sourcing, whatever it may be, when I'm starting something new, I always do it myself because I have to be good at it first, right? So I can teach others, my VAs. But even after I get good at this new project, I still have a hard time to let go. But then I force myself. I force myself by recording my screen, and then I tell myself, well, there's already a video about it. No need for me to keep doing it anymore. I pass it on to my VA, and I ask my VA to do it, and voila, you discover that they can handle it pretty well. So you have to give them the credit. That's what I'm saying. So your focus should be on training your VAs, okay? After, of course, you've mastered the work yourself, right? Because you have to, okay? And then just create tutorials or videos and upload them to your drive, and give them the link, and they can see it on their own and they'll manage. Yeah, it's a reminder for myself as well. They will manage, okay? So you start with customer service, okay? You just recording yourself doing, answering tickets, answering buyer messages, doing returns, that kind of stuff. You record everything and you give it to them. Then you show them how to use the locator for listing items. Then you show them, if you want, right, how to do manual item research. So, for example, the locator supports only Amazon and Walmart. So, what about other suppliers? Because I told you guys, I'm all about discovering new suppliers all the time. Okay, diversifying risks and making more profit, because there are some suppliers more profitable than others. So you have to do it by hand because you don't have a locator for them, right? So again, I record myself and I give them to my VAs. Okay, and I'm using a Google Sheet to follow up on them. So instead of using complicated softwares where you have to pay for them, I just use a Google Sheet. So each VA has its own Google Sheet. Okay, so like with recurring tasks. Okay, so they have to like check the boxes every day, right? And they have like to-do list, like daily to-do list if there's something new. Okay, so this way I can keep track on them and I can know what they did and what they didn't do. Okay, so yeah, and your questions, people always ask where they can find good VAs. I usually find them on Facebook groups. I know there are people who are against it because there are a lot of inexperienced VAs also. So they go to websites like onlinejobs.ph, which is like freelancers from the Philippines, or Upwork. Okay, but yeah, you definitely can find VA in these platforms. But Facebook groups, I just find one that's good. Okay, I give them a test, a quiz, whatever, just to check their basic knowledge in eBay or dropshipping. And once you have a good one, they bring a friend and then another friend, and today my VA is training her friends. I'm sorry, so I don't have to worry about it anymore because I was focused on training one VA and doing it well. So now when she's bringing her friends, she's training them the way she was trained, the way I trained her. Like I want her to work on my business. So you have to find a good one to start with, and then from there it just keeps rolling. So I hope it makes sense. But the one message I want you to take from here, guys, is delegating tasks. Um, you know, it's not it's not like I'm being vain or wanting to show off. It's just I'm having a hard time, trusting other people with more of a sensitive matter, like opening eBay stores, or making the first run, uploading the first items, which is very sensitive because eBay, you know, suspends you right, left, and center. And I told myself I could teach them how to do it, how to open a new store, how to run it, right? And I did. I just recorded myself, and now they do it, and I don't have to do it, and it takes a lot of the pressure off. So now it gives me more time to focus on other things rather than you know talking to eBay, increasing limits, all that kind of stuff. So you can do it too. Okay. Next, I want to talk about how to mix it up with wholesale suppliers. So if you watch my webinars enough, you know that I'm uh, advocating a lot about mixing suppliers. Okay, I don't advocate using only one supplier in your store, and this is because when you use more suppliers, you diversify the chances, right? The risks. You don't put the all the eggs in one basket, right? So, for example, like a year ago, before I started working with Walmart and Home Depot and AliExpress and that kind of stuff, Costway, I was working only with Amazon, and then I call it Black October. It was exactly last October. So last October, they started with uh, suspending a lot of accounts every day, and I couldn't fulfill orders. This is how the managed accounts idea was born, because it's not just me. People couldn't fulfill their orders. We all had to put our stores on vacation mode. It was terrible. Yeah, today we have the managed account service for sure, which is great help. Allows you to work with Amazon very comfortably, but it got me thinking that I can't put all the eggs in one basket with the name of Amazon, right? I have to spread the risks. So then I started exploring working with other suppliers. I started first with AliExpress and then Walmart and then Home Depot and Costway and Costco, and they are great. And now I've started with wholesale suppliers. So while Amazon and Walmart and Home Depot are great, they're all retailers, and retailers are more expensive than wholesalers, right? Because the whole point with working with wholesalers is that wholesalers don't sell directly to the customer, directly to the end customer, right? They sell to retailers like us. Okay, so when I pay to a wholesaler, I pay less than I would if I had to buy the item from a retailer, right? So, yeah, when working with wholesale suppliers, guys, you can get more discount on your retail price, okay? And thus you increase your profit margin, okay? For example, right? If you like the pet niche, right? Pets, everybody likes pets, and things for pets. People love it. It's a great niche, great category, always selling. People like investing in their pets. So you could definitely find hot selling items from Walmart or Amazon, but you could also um, submit an application to a wholesale supplier, which is all about pet supplies, right? And then if you and I sell the same thing, okay, the same concept, maybe a leash or a collar for your dog, and I brought my item from a wholesale supplier, more chances of it being more unique, right? Because it's not like this exactly the same item from Walmart, okay? And B, I got it with a wholesale price. So if I sell at the same price you sell a pet item from Walmart, then I make more profit than you, right? So yeah, think about that. Uh, so one thing I should say is that dropshipping from wholesale suppliers is 100% legit according to eBay's policies, right? So no worries about getting flagged, because even if they accuse you of, I don't know, dropshipping, you show them your contract with the supplier and they let you go. Okay. Now I want to show you this screenshot, this and this. So SaleFreaks is currently supporting quite a lot of wholesale suppliers. So if you haven't checked the suppliers list, right, when you sign into your SaleFreaks user on your dashboard, there are your stores, right? And right next to the name of your store, there's this button, add add a supplier, right? So I encourage you guys to check the drop down menu and check all the suppliers that you have there available. Okay, we have wholesale suppliers available both to the US and the UK market. Okay, so just check them out. So check this out: dealer leather, drop for you, wholesale pet, chat toolbox. Okay, all of this, and for example, you have wholesale North America. Okay, Branson wholesale. This is of course for the US market, right? So think of it. So think about it. For example, power tools or tools are always or also a great category, a great niche, because people always like to improve their home and do like do-it-yourself things. So power tools and tools in general are always a great niche to be in, to sell. Okay, so this guy right here, Chad's Toolbox. If you apply to work with him, okay, and you get accepted, think of the possibilities that you have. Maybe he can offer a power tool that doesn't exist on Home Depot or Walmart, okay, or with a better price. Usually there's less competition as well, okay, because not a lot of people, dropshippers, I mean, use wholesale suppliers. Okay, now all of these guys right here are wholesale suppliers which support drop shipping. Okay, so you shouldn't have a problem with any of them. Okay, they're all about drop shipping. They will send you one item at a time. You don't need a minimum quantity or something like that. Okay, so how do you apply for working with wholesale suppliers? Well, just write these names in Google on Google and check their website. Okay, usually it's a crappy looking website, and that's okay because their focus shouldn't be on pretty websites because they don't sell to end customers, right? They're wholesalers. And then you usually have like work with us or apply or subscribe or something like that. Okay, so if you guys who are watching this webinar right now and consider working with wholesale suppliers, if you're Americans, that's very easy for you because you have your tax ID and you can submit it, and that's it. If you're an international seller like myself, it could be a little more difficult, okay? Because from what I found out is there are some wholesale suppliers who won't work with you unless you have a tax ID, okay? Yeah, but you can definitely find wholesale suppliers from this list right here uh, who will accept you. So I do encourage you guys to work with them, and you can upload their items and they will get monitored through SaleFreaks, of course. Okay, I'm stopping for a second, okay, just to see your comments, guys, and remind you that if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Leave a comment and we'll go over it at the end. And I already see a couple of comments, which is great. So yeah, we'll check it later. Okay, uh, next. Next strategy of maximizing profits is a very simple and easy one, and it's just copying selling items across your store. Okay, so if you detect a best seller in one of your stores, I hope you guys by now you all have at least two stores or more. I hope so. Okay, this is how you can apply this technique. Okay, you have to have more than one store. Okay, so if you detect a bestseller, right, in one of your stores, then you copy it to your other stores, and this way you compete against yourself, right? So if a person looks on eBay for the keywords that are in your item's title, right, he will find not only he will find you in like a couple of listings. He won't know all of these listings are you, but you'll know you're you. You know what I mean? So I want to show you something like this. Look at this. So this is back when I started working with Walmart, I did this experiment. I was working with Walmart in only 3 of my stores. I had like 20 stores, and I put it only in 3 stores just to check it out to see how it goes. And yeah, each item that I sourced. Back then there wasn't a locator, so I did everything manually. uh, so yeah, back then I didn't find a lot of items, right? Because I did it manually. So in order to increase the exposure, right, and the chance of selling, I just duplicated everything to all of my stores. So I would come up every day with one CSV file, which I've uploaded through the file import, and I would automatically upload it to 3 stores. And you can tell, look at the date. It was May 6th. Okay, look at this, and this one. Okay, and they were sold, like all of them, on the same day. And this particularly item was selling very well. Okay, it was selling almost daily on all of the stores. Okay, and look at the price. It was uh, actually, yeah, look at this. It's $123. I mean, it's not a cheap item. So the profit out of it was pretty sweet. Yeah. And so instead of just doing like one sale a day, right? I made three out of 3 stores. You can check their names right here. You can see it's from 3 different stores. Okay, so I tripled my profits off of that item every day. Okay, so I recommend you do the same. So in order to do that, you have to go to your global settings, choose your store, of course, and the proper supplier. So for example, I'm sorry, these are from Walmart. Okay, so I went to all of my 3 stores and I went to Walmart, right, in global settings, and I made sure that I enabled stealth mode. Okay, so go right now, open your SaleFreaks user, choose a store and a supplier that you want to duplicate or triple across your store, and scroll down the page until you see listing in multiple stores. Okay, it's called a stealth mode. Okay, and you have to enable it. If you won't, then when you try to upload the same item in different stores, the SaleFreaks will fail it over duplicates. Okay, so you have to enable it in order to allow the duplicates. Now, obviously, it's not really a duplicate. I mean, why would SaleFreaks fail your items, right? Because there is this rule on eBay where you can't upload the same item twice in one store. But this is not one store. I mean, of course, I hope all of you are working with the non-API version, right? Because if you're working with linked stores, then yeah, you can't enable it. But if you work with non-API and not linked stores, then you can definitely enable the stealth mode and then upload the same item to all of your stores. And then when a person, a buyer, searches for whatever for your item on eBay, he will find you. Uh, he will find all of your listings, so it increases the chances of a sale because you compete against yourself and you compete against your competitors, obviously, but you have so many listings over theirs, right, that you crush the competition. Okay, so this is a very simple and great technique to do, and I totally recommend it. I always do it. Okay, you don't have to do it with every item, but if you detect a good selling item, grab it and just put it in all of your other stores. Okay, yeah, and take a look at this again. It was great item. Yeah, every item has a life cycle, right? A life cycle, like a period of time where it sells very well and then it fades away, right? So this item, when it sold daily, like a couple times a day in 3 different stores. I made a lot of profit out of this item alone. So yeah, think about that, guys. Okay, so for our last topic for today, I want to talk about start listing Q4 relevant items now. Okay, especially guys, if you work with AliExpress, okay, because shipping from China does take some time. I mean, it used to take like 2 weeks if you work with e-packet shipping, but now in the coronavirus it takes like a month. Okay, and since Halloween is our first holiday at the end of October, it's better to start listing items now. Okay, so it gets on time. Of course, if you work with American suppliers, American-based suppliers, then of course you can start listing items later. But you don't want to miss out on the early season, which is now. Okay, because people are starting to buy now, right now. Okay, so Q4 has already started. If you didn't know, okay, uh, and it involves Halloween, Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, right? And then it ends with Christmas, of course. So it's like 3 months of uh, a lot of events, like cheerful events where people buy gifts for each other and for their home and towards the new year and all that kind of stuff. So everybody's gonna get a lot of sales. Okay, so make sure your items that you're uploading right now are more strategically relevant to this time of year. Okay, so guys, I want to show you the categories or niches that you can find items to sell. Okay, so I suggest uh, clothes and accessories. Although I'm not a big fan of selling clothes myself, people do buy that. And if you have a reliable suppliers you trust and you're okay with it, you can definitely go for clothes and accessories. And obviously, try to aim for fall and winter. So a lot of ski stuffs and pajamas, like warm pajamas and all that kind of stuff, coats, gloves, hats, okay, all that kind of stuff. People love it. Electronics. Again, I'm not a big fan of selling electronics because of the risk that something will break. But if you work with a reliable supplier, or if you have sold electronics in the past and nothing happened, okay, then you can definitely go ahead and sell electronics. For example, I work with Costway, okay, and I totally love them, okay. So while they're not the most famous supplier out there for dropshippers, they do have a really good quality of items, right? People never complain about them, never. And I'm totally happy with it. So I would definitely feel comfortable selling electronics from them. Now, electronics are more expensive items, and people usually, well, people do shop for more expensive items, but especially now, towards the end of the year, where they wanna like compensate themselves and they, because they're spending so much money anyway, right? Because it's 3 months of holidays, right? So they spend so much money anyway, so they feel good with themselves, buying for themselves major electronics appliances for their home, okay? So if you go for major electronics, do it. Just don't do it from Walmart, guys, okay? Because Walmart will cancel your orders if you sell electronics. But if you work with Amazon or Costway, I totally recommend it, okay? Sometimes even Home Depot, depends on what type of electronics exactly. Okay, toys and games, obviously, like a huge niche, okay? Again, people buy gifts. They buy gifts for their children and nephews and grandchildren. Okay, so toys and games are like the eternal items that you can always sell on this time of year, especially towards Christmas, but now as well. Okay, uh, home improvements. So again, it's the end of the year. People like to renovate their house, their home. Okay, they buy furniture, they buy like ornaments, they buy decorations, decorative stuff. Okay, so home improvement, always good thing to sell. And of course, last but not least is seasonal items. Okay, so obviously for Halloween we're talking about costumes and props and scary things. I even saw like a cake a cake mold for in the shape of a skull. It was very nice, actually. Yeah, I would definitely buy that. A skull cake. Yeah. So go ahead and check for those. Okay, people are already buying, stuff for Thanksgiving, pumpkins, decorations, again, things for your house, okay? Seasonal things, right? Like I wouldn't list like Christmas trees items right now. I mean, I would wait with it, start with more, Halloween and Thanksgiving, more kind of things. Okay, and I will do another webinar on it in 2 weeks. Okay, in what you can sell. I mean, actual um, demonstrations and examples for you to sell. Okay, right now I'm just giving you ideas for categories to focus on. Okay, so make a research on the suppliers you're working with on Facebook groups to learn their behavior during the holidays. Okay, so I've put that tip right here because what I found out last year, I was overwhelmed by the amount of orders, and you know, Amazon collapsed, Walmart collapsed. I mean, they couldn't handle the order flow. Okay, it was insane, and so you know, uh, I mean, right now in the Corona time, we're more used to more prolonged shipping. But a year ago, when a prime item would take literally 2 days to get to the customer, and during the Christmas, they would take sometimes 5 days to give you a tracking number. Okay, that's a lot for a tracking number, not for delivery, right? Just the tracking number. So I would totally encourage you to check on Facebook groups what people are saying on the suppliers you're working with. Okay, go back to like October, November, December last year and see what people are saying. Okay, I can definitely say that Walmart and Amazon are always overwhelmed by orders. So I am personally gonna increase a little bit the handling time on my shipping policies, and you should too. But I do encourage you to find out, of um, any quirks. Find about it now. Don't find about it when you're already selling like hell and you're discovering you're having delays. Okay, guys, let's recap. So yeah, there are a lot of ways to minimize work and maximize profit, mostly automation and outsourcing. Always think about that, guys. Automation and outsourcing, okay? Everything you can teach your VA, just record your screen and give it to him. If he has any questions, he can ask, but most of the time they just understand what's need to be done, okay? And outsourcing, okay? So if you find yourself I don't know, struggling with whatever, just outsource it, okay? Consider working with wholesale suppliers, okay? Less competition, more profit. Could be a little tricky if you're international, but you can sort it out, okay? And list your most bestseller items across all of your stores. You'll definitely make more profit like this, okay? Because you're competing against yourself, so you're giving yourself a chance of the buyer would think he's choosing a competitor, but is really choosing one of your stores, okay? And start listing items related to Q4 now and adjust your shipping policy according to your supplier's history. But it may be too soon right now, okay? We're talking more about November and December, okay? But yeah, just find about their quirks because every supplier has their quirks, okay? Uh, so yeah. And now, guys, I'll take you to my Facebook and we'll check out your comments. So let's see what we have here. Uh, Angel, good to see you every time. Okay, Muhammad, uh, yeah, good to see you guys. I'm happy to see you in all of my webinars. Okay, Gerardo asks, hi, great presentation, thank you. Um, do you know a source for SOP uh, templates? Okay, guys, if you don't know what SOP means, it's just basically like a written tutorial, okay? For the purpose of having a starting point for developing our own. So yeah, I totally recommend doing your own. Don't go looking for templates because It's better to teach the VAs to do the things how you want them to be done. You know what I mean? When you take from someone else, could be mistakes, could be, the way he prefers, and I always prefer to do things my way. Okay. So I always just write SOPs myself, and I usually don't even write SOPs. I just record my screen and I show it to my VAs. Okay. um, but yeah, if you want customer service templates, this one I do recommend of just copy it from someone else, because it's always the same, right? And I have posted in this group a couple of months ago a webinar on customer service, and in the comments I've posted a link to a Google sheet with customer service templates. This is definitely templates that you can use, but other than this, just write it yourself or record yourself. Okay. How many SOPs do you use for your VA to do their do they include video? So yeah, like I said, I record myself. Okay, I keep the videos short and precise. So if I'm showing them one, if I have, for example, 3 methods of item sourcing, I do a video on each one of them. Okay, so not to confuse them. Okay, and then I tell them I want you to work with method 1, and for the other one I tell them work with method 2, and so on. Okay. Um, do you still buy from wholesaler once customer makes an order, or buying stock in advance? No. So what I'm saying, I mean, yes, of course, you have wholesale suppliers. You can buy in a bunch, right? Buy in a bulk, but that's not what we're doing. We're drop shippers. Okay, we don't keep inventory. So be surprised to know that there are wholesale suppliers who work with dropshippers. Okay, there are wholesale suppliers, let me say it again, who will sell you with a wholesale price, but they won't make you buy in bulk. They will fulfill every order without minimum quantity, meaning you can sell one, send them one. Okay, and there are a lot of them, and all the wholesale suppliers that are on SaleFreaks are like this: wholesale suppliers who work with dropshippers. Okay, so they know what is dropshipping, they know what to expect. Okay, they don't expect you buying in bulk. I mean, you can, but again, we're dropshippers, so yeah. Do you break down the process into sections such as research, sourcing, listing, fulfillment, customer service? Yes. Look, I'm working with SaleFreaks, right? The monitor. So actually, I don't have to do like uh, the listing like manually, obviously, because I'm using SaleFreaks. But yeah, every time I'm finding or developing a new method of research. Okay, I show it to them. Take into account that when you uh, stray away from the big three, right? Amazon, Walmart, and Home Depot, when you start backing away from them towards more wholesale suppliers or more obscure retailers, right? It gets more difficult to find items. So you have to be more creative with your sourcing methods, right? Also, as I mentioned, I don't have a locator, right? So um, like sourcing and listing for Amazon, Walmart, it's very easy, okay? But for other suppliers, I first develop a technique, and when I see it works, I teach it to them. And obviously, how to do fulfillment, because there is no automation for these kind of suppliers, right? Customer service will always remain the same, because once you teach your VA to master, how to answer tickets, how to answer messages, how to do returns, then it's always the same. Uh, uh, I don't think we have a section for SOPs. This is why I make these webinars every week, so you can learn and do it yourself. Um, do your live broadcasts always start at this time? Yes, guys. I don't know what the time in your country is right now, but I can tell you that according to Israel time, we start on 8 p.m. Mondays. Okay. if you have difficulties, checking it out, then don't worry because they stay on the group, so you can check them later. Okay, and I always say to you guys, that if you have any more questions after the live, I mean, if you watch it not live, right, and you have a question, you can post it, and I always make an effort to go back and check your comments and see if there are new questions and answer them. Okay, so you can definitely do that. And I want to thank you for your time. It seems that this is all we have for today. And uh, thank you so much for your time. I hope you've learned something and have a great rest of the day.